first time ever even attempting to do clean comedy.
Good though.
You know,
it was good.
Clean comedy, like.
And you know that's gonna. Yeah, I was telling you before, like that's you don't know when there's gonna be events when you need to do something like that.
I was so
what's it called? Versatile.
Versatile, yeah. No, I was so nervous too because at first I told myself I was like, yeah, I gotta be clean, but like clean-ish, and then like I seen the playground and I was just like, oh, I gotta be clean, like one step above knock jokes, clean. So
it gotta be PG.
I was like,
but it was
wow.
good though. It was good. But you know what? That's talent to be able to adjust like that. Talent is fuck. Like, yeah, I think that if you're gonna be a comedian and you want to take it serious, I think that it's good to be versatile like that because you never know what opportunities bring yourself. If you can do an event where PG, then you can do any event.
I can do any event. Yeah, I've realized that too. And I was like, yo, I might be able to play a cartoon character one day, but they're gonna be like, nah. Nah, we can't.
You never know, bro. The AI shit just.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, I gotta be able to crack jokes without saying fuck, shit, damn.
Yeah, but I love the type of comedy too. I grew up on that type of comedy, bro. Yeah, I mean, so like sometimes the best thing for a comedian is to do is just to be real because that's the best. Like, it's only more authentic that way. You know, if you try to be somebody else, it won't work.
No.
You know what I mean? So like. But what you did, that shit had me hilarious. Yo, you did that shit right on the spot. You did that shit. There was a white lady in front. There was a white lady in front of the stage. I wish we recorded that shit. I think I might have some recordings there. I got to look it up and then I'll have to share it to you.
I know C recorded a bunch. She went Facebook Live.
Yeah.
I went back and watched her live, and I was dying.
It was good, man.
Like, wow.
It was a real good set. There
was a couple times where everybody thought I was going to cross the line, but I dialed it back right before.
Pulled everybody back.
Yeah,
that
I
was
pulled
good.
Them all the way back.
That was really good. Yeah, everybody was enjoying that shit.
Oh man,
you got a lot of feedback, bro. A lot of people came to me like, yo, that guy was hilarious.
I just was thrown off. One thing I was saying, it was a great block party. You know, we celebrated Juneteenth, but for it to still be 75% Caucasian males and females at that block party.
Yeah,
I was thrown off. I'm like, yo, where all the black people at?
Yeah. They were in the
there was another.
There was
another. I found out that after I was just like, oh.
I wanted it to be kind of combined, so it doesn't like it was divided. But you know, some of them some of them came down and stuff like that, but a lot of them stayed over there just to support that area over there and stuff like that.
I noticed that. Yeah, like when I went down to go grab food, I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
That's what a seasoning is.
Yeah, unfortunately, like the stage that we had, it can only fit there. We try to get it into the park, so then it won't seem like, you know, it's close together to give people more space and shit like that. But it was good. It was a good event. I enjoyed it. That crowd was hot. My bad. Good. I enjoyed that crowd was hot, and yeah, man, I'm hoping to do another one next year.
Next year, my only suggestion is to have more food carts.
Right.
Like more places for us to get food and drinks. It was like one, and it was on the other goddamn side of the damn. It was a stretch, yo. You like look down there, and then you're like, I want to walk down there and get something to eat, and then you seen the line, and you were just like, yeah, no, I ain't that hungry. Not that hungry. I was like, no.
It was a good crowd though. They were super engaged, like on the whole show, especially with you. Like when you was just throwing it out there and people were engaging with you and shit. Like let me tell you something. That's super like hard to do, especially on the spot. So for you to do that, yo, much respect.
Well, definitely. It is not easy. Like I tell people all the time, my anxiety is normally going through the roof that entire time. Like my stomach is deep in my asshole the whole time, and I'm like the quick-witted responses are natural, yo. But at the same time, yo, just know that in the back of my head, I'm just like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, just in case it goes.
Who's gonna say yeah? No, like
just in case it goes left or something. Yeah, I hear you.
So somebody will say something, and I was just like, I've already thought about that type of scenario 4 times in my head in the last 2.5 minutes already. So like the comeback comes and flows out naturally because I prepared for it. Like sometimes I write my jokes that way. Sometimes I bait people. Sometimes like I'll write a joke knowing I'm gonna get a certain type of response, and then I'll already have it set. But the hardest part about that, being a black comedian, is I don't just get booked in the same type of rooms. So like
Gotta
the rooms
adjust.
I get booked in New Hampshire are not the same rooms I get booked in New York. Not the same
Massachusetts.
room when I went down to Maine. Like it's so like even going to Nashville, I was just like the crowd just changes, and it was just like I have to be able to fine tune, twist, and turn my jokes to fit that crowd. Because the last thing I want to be is a superstar, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean, the urban community. But then be like just a nonchalant, who is that guy, you know, in a different crowd. You know, I just want to make sure that like you said, I want to make sure I'm versatile. So like,
Definitely have a market here. Really good, versatile. My audio's cutting out, so I apologize for that. But I've been fucking around with this for like the last 40 minutes. My bad. But yeah, no, like I was saying, it's definitely good. You have a market that allows you to be versatile because the majority are not look like me and you.
no.
So you have to know how to read the crowd and make it into your own way where this shit's fire. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing about comedy, and I tell people all the time when they ask me, they're like, how do I get into comedy? And I'm like, yo, you just have to stick with it. Like, but like I'm telling you right now, as a black man in comedy, the moment I step on that stage, I'm expected to be funny.
Yeah.
Like it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a black dude, he's gonna be funny. You have to be. Like there is no ifs, ands, or buts. Everybody's like, oh, this dude's gonna make me laugh.
So, yo, real quick. So, let me ask you. So, for those who don't know, because I know we've been kind of talking for like 10 minutes or so. For those who don't know, for the audience, who is Torrey Slaughter?
So that's a great question. I wasn't ready for that one. But Torrey Slaughter is what's the best way to describe that one? Jesus. Oof. Which Torrey Slaughter, right?
I don't know, man.
New Hampshire Torrey Slaughter?
I've only
or
known you
before
for about
New
a year and a
Hampshire Torrey
half. So
Slaughter?
I'm also trying to get to know you, too.
So like it's funny you asked me that question because I had a conversation with somebody recently and they were like, oh, well, like I've known you for so long, and then I looked at them and I go, no, you don't. Like you have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
Like, if I met you in New Hampshire, you have no idea who I am. Like I have a whole completely separate, different life that doesn't even coincide and add up to the life that I have in New Hampshire. So when you said that, like, who is Torrey Slaughter? And I'm just like, yo, which one? Which one? Because if the flight lands in O'Hare, I am a completely different man.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like I told you, I don't know you. I mean, we've known each other, or we've talked to each other. You know, it's kind of like every once in a while. But, you know, I've only seen you through a podcast that you used to do.
Right.
What was I forget the name of the podcast.
I mean, it was, which one? I had like 50.
The one with the homies.
Oh, Daily Dosage. I remember Daily Dosage. Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, Daily Dosage. It's a Dimension 603 production. Yeah. Yeah, no, man, those guys are great guys. I've known them both for about 7 years. So the chemistry was always there. I think what drew a wrench into that one was COVID. So
Yeah.
we had a lot of plans.
That's what made it so good, though. Cause we were in COVID. I'm like, yo, 6 o'clock. All right, let me listen to these cats. But you know, at 7 o'clock, let me listen to these cats. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, it threw such a wrench into it because we didn't have access to a lot of materials and things of that nature that we wanted to have access to. You know what I mean? Like artist interviews and things of that nature, and bringing people on. Like people were like sketched out about it. And then, like, the places we used to rent and stuff like that weren't available anymore because everybody got freaked out during COVID. So I transformed my own room is what I did.
That's fire, though.
I literally just decided that my room didn't exist anymore, and I transformed it into a studio. And then, like, I only had enough space after that for, like, where my dirty clothes went and my bed. That was it. The entire anybody that's ever seen Daily Dosage, my entire room was set up for the podcast.
That's fire, bro.
It was wild.
You know, but you have to use your resources. Like, you know, sometimes doing a podcast, that shit's hard because sometimes it's hard to get a location. You don't want to go in your house and do it. You know what I mean? Because your house is your house, and that's your personal space.
That's supposed to be my safe space, you know? And then I just wake up some days and I just be like,
yeah, it's facts, though. It's facts. It's like, damn, but, you know, so and trying to be consistent with the content and trying to find a location and then trying to find a guest or trying to find whatever it is you're trying to do for the episode.
God forbid, don't start bringing in cost of equipment.
Facts.
Oh my God, bro.
The equipment is crazy. Equipment is crazy. Cost of equipment and all that. But, you know, you look at it as like baby steps in getting what you need until you start building and building. but it's very difficult to start and keep hard pause, keep it consistent is keep the content consistent is super
Right.
very difficult.
That's really difficult because after like 12 episodes, you're like, all right, well, what do we talk about now? You know what I mean? And then like if nothing's like really big or trending, like in the media, you run into a point where you're like, all right, well, like now we have to create some type of controversy to keep, listeners listening, And then I tell people all the time, then you got the super opinionated folks who who just live to like just put you down, And it's so many of those people that just like, oh, well, your content said this and you said this and you said that, and oh my God, you said this. Like, you've been Facebook friends with me forever. I'm always known for saying controversial things of that nature. Like when I posted,
you can either participate in it or not.
Listen, when I posted that it's 2023, being a single mom is no longer a flex.
Oh yeah, I remember
my
that.
God, I lit the internet on fire.
I remember that. That's why I said you can either engage with it or not, but just be careful when you opinionate. You just look at it like that. Tori's on his shit and just move on.
Yo, I had oh my God, like 457 angry women just like, yeah, I've been a single mom for so long, and I was just like. And in my head, I was just like, exactly my point. Like, you were a single mom, and you're independent, and you had to take care of the kids by yourself, and your mom did it, or like your cousin's doing it, or your sister's doing it. And, like, y'all see that. It sucks. So, like, my comment was like, all right, it's 2023 now. Hey, ladies, let's not be single moms anymore. And my comment was focused towards women who didn't have kids. Like, all right, we got 20 years of single moms now. We see how it affects them and like the world. Okay, so maybe we should stop. Like, enough is enough. Like, it wasn't like a shot at single moms thinking like it was me going like, hey, so listen,
social media, people take things the way they want to take things. You know what I mean? You can put it as a good intent, not to be disrespectful. People are going to take it the way they're going to take it.
Man, I think I lost a couple gigs for that, too. It was wild. I had a couple people tell me they weren't going to book me because I said that. And I was just like, wow.
The powerhouse
wow.
comedy.
I was like, Jesus, good thing I booked my own shows. Like, Jesus. Like, good thing I have my own following. Like, God damn. But, like, in my head, I was just like, yo, like that needs to, that job on my head, I was like, that genuinely needs to stop. Like, and I don't, like, as much as
opinion, man. Sometimes we just get. Hold on.
There you go.
Just sometimes people just they're gonna feel some type of way for an opinion that you put up, and they're gonna disagree, and.
Which is right.
Which is whatever, but
don't
at the
come
same time, it's
me like, sheesh, they tried to. Oh, they were coming for blood. I was like, Jesus. Like,
it's hard, bro. That
just
shit.
A messenger.
So I did. Actually, you know what? Let me ask you this: when did you Powerhouse Comedy? When did you start that? How did the idea come about?
So I was technically GM of Central Ale House. I essentially ran all the operations, and one of the bartenders came up to me and she was like, "Hey, Torrey, it'd be a great idea if we added comedy, to ramp up the Mondays there." And I was just like, "Okay, like whatever, I don't care. How much is it gonna cost?" And she was just like, "Oh, $75." And I was like, "Oh, I don't care about $75. I'll give out $75 to watch some comedy." Like, I didn't even know that a comedy scene even existed in New Hampshire.
Oh, really?
Like
I didn't.
outside
I knew
of like the.
That's about it.
I didn't even know about the Shasky.
Yeah, I knew about Wednesdays because I did a set there. It was my first and last set.
The only thing I knew was like they did shows at Chunky's, and like the little theaters over here.
I remember seeing the boards for the I forget the brand of it, but I remember seeing those comedy boards and Chunky's and stuff.
So other than that, I was just like, I didn't know.
So there's a whole network, huh?
There's a whole community that I didn't even know existed. This was, I want to say this was 2 years ago. So I got into it. We started doing the open mic. I did a couple open mics, but like personally, I wasn't chasing the comedy aspect of it. like I seen the market side of it, like I seen the business side of it, and I was just like, hey, there's an untapped clientele, because if I didn't know comedy didn't exist in here, I know about 200 or 300 more people who would probably love comedy but didn't know it existed. Let me introduce comedy to the urban community out here in New Hampshire, and that's what we did at Central Ale House. I paired up with Sammy Smooth. I paired up with Juan Cespedes. We paired up together. We sat down. We came up with the whole concept of Powerhouse Comedy, the three of us. And like we essentially was like, hey, we're just gonna dominate urban comedy in New Hampshire because it's an untapped market. Facts. It's clientele no one has right now, and like we didn't think that like we'd step on anybody's toes because the clientele that we're reaching out for doesn't even know comedy exists. So we did good. Like we worked together. We blew up. We did good. We ended up pairing up with not just Central Ale House, but Cheers and Beers at the time. A couple sold out shows. We went from there. And then, as always, like the Temptations, as always, the greed kicks in. greed kicked in, and then from that point, me and Juan split. I think he's over the top comedy now.
You hear me?
Yep.
There we go.
We split. He went his way. He had his idea of how he wanted things to run.
Let's not get to that part.
I have my idea. Yeah, no.
I don't want.
No. I'm happy for him. I'm like, no, this isn't a.
Sure. I was like, where's this going?
No. I love what he did with that. No, 100%. Like, I would never. I don't. No matter how it goes, I would never stomp somebody else's growth. Yes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you feel like that you can grow further outside of us working together, from man to man, I congratulate that. And he did. He went, he grew, and he's in his own light now. He has Over the Top Comedy. Over the Top Comedy's doing great. He has his open mic over at 603 Bar and Grill. Every time I look up, he's doing dope shows. I know he's done shows over at Dubai. He's done shows down in New York. He's done shows down in Boston. So, like, he's doing good. So, like, the split wasn't a bad thing. It's just the way I seen it is it was growth. It was growth, and there's enough to go around is how I thought about it. And I was just like, all right, so, like, instead of me going, oh, this dude split, and then he went, I'm like, no, okay, all right, so now something that we started together, whether we do it separately, we're going to grow now. So, like, I think it's two prominent, really good comedy
Sometimes when
adventures.
You separate that, though, lanes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when you separate that, you take the two different lanes. Sometimes you end up in the same location later on. So
we've done.
You never know what the future's.
We did a show together July 7th. We just did it. So we just recently did a show. We still do shows together. Yeah, all the time. I call him all the time, and I'd be like, "Hey, listen, I got a slot," and like he'll call me, and he'll be like, "Hey, I got a spot," and so like we still work together. It's no bad.
That's good, man. That's good. But yeah, that's good to that you have. It's growth and it's maturity. Mm-hmm. Having that mindset is like, bro, I'm not just gonna be, selfish and be like, nah, fuck that.
Oh yeah, no. That's it. I just honestly, like, I know I'm extremely an opinionated. Like I'm strong. I'm strong. Like I have an idea of how I want things to go. I don't budge on that because I know in my mind that I have already calculated all different types and forms of success. And then I know that if I'm the one invested in it, then this is how I need it to go.
Yeah, you need it.
I need things to run a certain. It's not that
very important to have
somebody else's way is wrong. It's just that I have already calculated it, and like this is the way. Like I'm a Mandalorian when it comes to
I know
that.
you're calculating your destination. So I get it, and that's I absolutely respect that because at the end of the day, you have to have control of you and what you got going on. No offense to anybody else, you're gonna have people that agree or disagree, but at the same time, it's the only person you trust is yourself. So, and that's not just the situation here, but that's just in life. You know what I mean? Regardless of what it is, you have to have control of your destination. Mm-hmm. I feel like because if you have a goal in mind, you have a place in mind, you know how you want it to go. Then you can't let people break you out your path. And that's facts.
Yeah.
So, no, I completely respect that and understand that 100%. And everybody should have that mindset, because at the end of the day, we're our own person, so we should be able to decide, like, especially men, like, that are trying to live a dream or trying to have a brand or trying to control anything. You know what I mean? Yeah, you should also have that mindset, like, bro, this is what I want to do. There's nothing you can say, and I'm not gonna stop. And I have this fucking path, and it's either you with it or you're not.
Yep. Yeah. No. 100%. I agree with that. No. That's pretty much how my mindset runs when it comes to that.
Yeah, man. And I think I've been around enough to know, through my experience and whatever my experience in my journey of life, that's what it's got to be. So, got to do it for you.
Yep.
So Powerhouse Comedy is fire though. I haven't been able to. I've seen some videos, but I haven't been able to go to the show. You got to do. We got to get you booked in Nashville.
In Nashville? Yeah.
Nashville's a different beast, though.
It is.
Nashville's a different beast.
I don't mind doing shows in Nashville. For me personally, I haven't reached out to a lot of the places in Nashville that does comedy.
They do comedy at the Arts Center, so you can probably, I don't know who you need to talk to there, but you can probably reach out over there and see if you can open up or something like that for that, before the act comes in.
I know I like try to limit myself. I limit myself to like 2 to 3 shows a month, because like when I entered into comedy, I looked at it from the business side. It ended up developing into me finding out that I'm actually have a knack for, like, I'm good at comedy, but like comedy, I wouldn't say comedy isn't my calling. Like, it's something that I enjoy doing. It's something that I'm pursuing, but like I get burnt out. Like after 3 shows, I'm just like. Like I could do like Kevin Hart going on tour, 17 dates, 14 states, boom, 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 boom. I was like, yeah, no, man, I couldn't see myself doing that, like 100%.
Skits,
yeah, I could do those all day long, skits and all this thing. I was just talking to somebody earlier today. They were selling a white van, and I was just like, how much you selling it for? Because I want to do my Titty Repo Man skit.
Jesus.
And I was like, how much you selling that van for? I was just like, if he'd have said anything under 2,000, I'd be like, let me get that van. Give it here. I don't even need to register it. I don't even need the van to move. I just need to be in it.
Yo, so when did you start comedy?
2 years ago. So I started 2 years ago. So right at when the open mics opened up at Central Ale House, I did the first open mic there. Some of the first advice I got, they asked me, was it my first time? I said, yeah. They told me to quit. And from that point forward, I just went absolutely bonkers. I was just like, all right, did you guys just tell me to quit doing comedy?
Yo.
I was like, say less.
That's crazy, because when I did mine, I don't know if I sent it. I did mine at the Shasky. I was working for Comcast one day, and one of them, the coworkers were like, "Yo, come to the Shasky on Wednesday. I got comedy." I forget how I did it, but how I got there. But I got there, and I'm like, "Yo, I can fucking do this. I can do comedy." But then when you see the mark of the beast, and you're like, "Oh shit, I'm about to be in front of people," then I'm like, "Okay." And then I had this thing set up and all that. I'll have to show you it, bro. I mean, I can put it on and connect to the phone and shit, but it was all right. It was all right until the light blinded me, bro, and that distracted me. Yeah. The stage light is so blind, but I didn't get the fact that you can just pretend like nobody's there and just do your bit. And it was my first time, and I had to, when I was doing my bit, I'm like, damn, that light's distracting. And I fucked it up, and then it was like, all right, cool, and then I'm out, so it was good. It was a good little bit, but I can understand what you're saying, like, yo, that butterflies and like, oh shit, like, am I gonna get heckled or shit like that? And it was like,
it's 1,000 miles a second of thoughts,
and it's only 5 minutes.
And it's only 5. It's either, I tell people, the saying is, it's the 5 minutes can be the longest time of your life or the shortest. You know what I mean? Because if you're doing good, that 5 minutes flies. But if you're doing bad, it's the longest 5 minutes of your life, bro. Let me tell you. It's the longest 5.
Facts.
I've definitely bombed before, and I've gone like, how much time I got left? Like, can I get off of here?
But no, that 5 minutes is definitely a long time. But I mean, what's kind of like your preparation when you have a show booked, and what are some of the things that you like to do to get your mind right?
I play Call of Duty.
Is it?
I literally play Call of Duty, and what I do is I just trash talk Everybody on Call of
Practice,
Duty.
try talking.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm so serious too. That's not a
Okay.
joke. I would literally enter my friends could be playing. I would just jump in a random lobby and I would just start an argument. And then I would just literally be just going boom, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And what'll happen is my mind will already be set for comebacks. And I'm already thinking. It just gets my brain turning. That's if like I have a local show. If I have a show and I'm on the road, I'll literally throw on some Rihanna. I'll let the windows down. I'll blast Rihanna, and I'll literally just either I'm driving or I'm riding, one of the two, and I'll literally just do my set in my head over and over again. And then I'll go, all right, I'm going to change it and do this, okay? And then, okay, so what'll happen if these type of people are here? And then I'll do my set again. And it depends on how far the drive is. Like, I think the longest I've driven to do a show is 4 hours. So imagine 4 hours of repeating the same set in my head over and over and over and over and over again. And then I'll get there, and then, like, I'm literally prepared.
Don't forget that set either, because you can go to different locations with the same set.
That's one thing I never do. I never go with the same set.
Due to the people that haven't heard it.
Well, here's the thing. It's because the way I create my jokes, the parts and the pieces and parts are interchangeable. So, like, it's very rare. Very rare you'll hear me do a set the same exact way. You'll probably hear different parts of jokes that I've already put somewhere. Like, so if you've been to a show before, you'll be in your head like, oh, I know where this is going, and then I'll go in a completely different direction, and you'll be like, wait, what? Like, he changed that? Like, oh, wow. So, like, or like the set orders or the orders I tell jokes in and how I connect them together and, like, how I set up callbacks to what the first joke was. I'm always consistently perfecting and changing that because I'm not at that level yet where I can confidently write down a joke set and then, like, all right, this is that joke because this here is the moneymaker. This is what's getting me booked at, the Szn2 Arena. I'm not there yet. So I tell myself all the time that every joke that I create and all the jokes that I write, they can always be perfected. So I'm consistently testing them, consistently working on them, consistently changing them out. Even if it's successful at one show, I'm not personally successful enough to write them down and then have them be, this is one solid joke. That's it. So that's why I do that.
People have their own methods, man.
Mm-hmm.
Have their own methods. So, have you bombed?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah?
Yes,
What was
I've
the worst?
bombed.
What was one of the worst shows you did that you bombed?
I bombed at a show was it at Central L? I did a show at Central L House that I bombed at, and I was just like terrible.
You wanted to leave the building?
Terrible. Like I was.
What'd you say? What joke was it?
It was like I have this joke where I'm like friends with one of my first white friends that I ever met. So like I let people know, like, in Chicago the city's still segregated. So all the black people live with all the black people.
Real?
All the white people live with the white people. Like the neighborhoods are literally set that way. And like it's so cool though too. It's like it's a good thing. Like what neighborhood you in based on your surroundings. Like if you deal with the Mexicans where the Mexicans live, you're in Mexico. Like it's like how you go to Chinatown. You're in Chinatown. Yeah. You with the Mexicans. You with the Greeks. You with the Haitians. The Puerto Ricans live here because the entire neighborhood shifts to that culture, and like that culture in Chicago is so big that area has so many of the same clientele and the same culture that like their whole neighborhood becomes that culture as well. So yeah, you didn't see white people growing up. Like the only time I seen white people were either at school or while I like getting chased by cops or something. But that was the only time you seen somebody's like therapist or like probation officer. But other than that, growing up, I'm surrounded by just black people.
How long you been over here?
So I've been here since 2016. What's that? 7 years? 7 years.
Made you come over here?
So I originally came here in 2012. I worked a job, Fans. It was a sports apparel store.
I remember that store.
Yeah, so I transferred from a store in Chicago to manage the store up here in Manchester because y'all Celtics, Bruins, Patriots didn't know how to stop winning is what it was. You guys were winning like crazy, so we came over from Chicago. It was Utah Jazz. Larry H. Miller owned the company back then.
Okay.
And he had the stores placed everywhere, so he put 3 stores in here in New Hampshire. And I got picked to run one of the stores in New Hampshire. So I uprooted from Chicago, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm here. And I essentially came to Manchester, no friends, no family, nothing. I was just by myself, and I like, just rooted myself in here. So like that's why when you asked me earlier, like who is Torrey Slaughter, and I was just like, I came here with the opportunity to recreate and reinvent who Torrey Slaughter was. You know, so
Whole different. My shit keeps coming out, so cutting out. Yeah, a whole different world with that. Coming from a city like Chicago and coming here, like, oh shit, there's a whole different environment, a whole different setup, a whole different demographic. I'm not used to this. What? And I can just imagine. Let me tell you my background a little bit. So growing up, I moved to 5 different high schools in 4 years of high school. Jeez. So I know how to adjust a little bit, right? When it comes to like, where you're at, your setting. So you coming from Chicago and not seeing that, and then coming here from Manchester and seeing the kind of the diverse. I mean, it's definitely more diverse than it is back in the day. We still had people of color and all that, but now it's kind of it's the new norm a little bit.
Yeah.
Say. So
no, I remember New Hampshire back in 2012.
How did you feel to be like, damn, I gotta adjust to this culture. I'm not really used to it. I hope they accept me, and I gotta make moves. I gotta set a life house, set a foundation here.
So when I first moved here, the first thing I did was, instead of trying to adapt and adjust to like social life in Manchester, is I forced people to want to adapt and adjust to me. That's what I did. So like I essentially created this magnetic field, I would say, that drew people to want to come to me. Yeah, like like I did that. I didn't do that for a social reason, for like friend wise. I did that because I'm in Manchester, New Hampshire. I don't know anyone here, and I have a job to do. Like I have to sell all of this sports stuff here, and I don't even know nobody to come tell them to come buy it. So then what I did was I created a need to know who, like if you didn't know who Torrey Slaughter was, you had to go and find out. Like you wanted to, like who is this dude that everybody's talking about? So I created that buzz. I selected my team that worked for me perfectly. I literally attacked every social group possible with my team that I put together, and like I taught them, and like I taught them sales like to the teeth, and like how to promote, and like I used to be a promoter back in Chicago too, and so I taught them all those skills, and then sent them out, and then the sports apparel store, they got to the point